So I've been working on my own phone using one of these devices. It's called a Kite phone. Comes with a little SBC, a screen, and other components to make your own Android phone. You have to 3D print your own case, but the cool thing about it is it comes with this expansion board that has a Raspberry Pi compatible GPIO. So what I did with mine was I took the analog sticks from a 3DS, the keycaps from a 3DS, and the little PCBs for the D-pads, and created my own Android gaming phone. The way it works is it uses an Arduino Nano to take all the analog and digital inputs and then sends them via serial to the SBC. And then a little shell app that runs on Android takes that data and turns it into a controller. The cool thing about this SBC is it's got a modem in it, so you can use it as a phone. You can browse the internet, send text messages, and my hope is to replace this thing. Right now, I only really play GBA games on this, and I really struggle with the touchpads after any extended plays, like with the touchscreen. So my goal was to make a phone with buttons, so I could play through a lot of the other emulators like PSX and stuff with real analog sticks. So right now I've only tested a few emulators. PSX runs the best I've found. I haven't really messed with any of the settings, so my guess is I should be able to get the other ones running a lot better, considering this one runs so fine. So this is Vagrant Story. I remember from back in the day, I used to really struggle emulating this game on my old computer. Like this was like the one game I couldn't do. So I used this as kind of like a stress test. If anyone knows a better game to like stress out PSX, let me know and I can test it out. So because this shows up as a controller, it's really easy to bind controller support basically to any app that has inbuilt controller support, because it just shows up as kind of a virtual gamepad. Um, I think I didn't need this analog stick as there wasn't really any games on PSX that used this. I think there was like 10 or so I may not have needed this, but I kind of wanted to be able to play them all, so that's why I put this on. 64 runs okay. I haven't really changed any of the settings on this, so I'm hoping I can get it more stable. Like most of the time it's stable, but it has little hiccups every now and then. So I'm guessing there's a setting or something I can do to kind of like tone it down and get it to run at like a more stable FPS. Right now I haven't actually, I don't have the shoulder buttons connected. I wasn't happy with the design I did, so I took them out and I need to 3D print some internal parts to basically house the buttons for the little shoulder buttons. I also need to wire up the headphone jack. There's a spot where this fits in. I just need to wire it up to the board. So there's a few things I want to change. I put the start and select button here because I was a little worried that if the speakers were here, I would cover them up with my hand. So I put the start and select button here, but they're kind of annoying to press. So I might move them here. I think there's enough room. And there's a couple of dimensions that weren't quite right. Like this earpiece didn't need to be this big. And right here is the microphone. I might try and move that to either the side or the bottom, just so there isn't a tiny little hole in the front case. I would also like to mount the screen from above rather than inserted inside, and use some double-sided adhesive to hold the screen down. That way it's like flush, because right now there is a tiny little lip here, which can get in the way a little bit when you're trying to do touch screening stuff. If there's any games you want me to test out, I'm more than happy to test them. This is running the Snapdragon 410. Version 2 is hopefully going to be running a better SoC. I think it should be the 450, but I don't know if that's 100% confirmed yet. I don't know if you'd be able to emulate anything higher than PSX and 64, but at least a faster GPU and CPU will be able to handle native Android apps a lot better, because those are starting to get pretty complex now. Power button and volume buttons are here. I wanted the USB and the headphone jack to come out the bottom. I wasn't happy with the way the switch's power, I think, comes from the top. Or is it headphone? One of them comes from the top, and I don't like it. I was thinking about making a version that allows you to snap off the controllers, similar to the Switch, but the way I have this one set up is it actually uses an LG V20 battery that's got 3,200 milliamp hours, whereas the battery that it came with was only 2,600. The battery ends up extending over the top of the controller, so I don't really have room to fit everything in just this real estate unless I switch back to this battery. And I kind of wanted long battery life on this. I haven't really had it functioning long enough to fully test out how much game time I get. So I'll be doing some more tests over the next week to figure that out. I'll leave some links in the description if anyone wants to check out the Hackaday page for the Kite phone. And my goal would be to open source all these files and the software that I made for the Nano and Android to get the controller support. But currently this board is only a small run was made of them. There's only 25 kits in the world, and I have 2 of them currently, and I need to send them back so other people can test it out and try out making their own phone. So when version 2 comes out, I'll make another version and open source those files and software so people can make their own. And by then I should have a few more of the quirks and printing dimensions all figured out. If you have any suggestions or want me to test out a game, let me know in the comments, and I can try stuff out. This is more like something I wanted to try. I've always wanted kind of my own phone. Oh no. It's not easy to type like this. Alright. I always wanted to build my own phone because I wasn't really happy with everything out there, and I much prefer being able to put my own operating system on there. This thing can dual boot into Linux, but I don't think everything will be supported. So things like the modem, I don't think Linux has very good modem support yet, and it might be really hard to use a touchscreen with Linux. I always find with all the kind of Raspberry Pi projects I've made, touchscreen support, trying to use the device in Linux is never great unless you're using some kind of like skinned system like the Emulation Station or something. Just using the raw operating system didn't work very well for me.
What's up? It's your boy, Harry Windsor, aka Ron Sleasley. Yeah?
Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for checking it out.